Okay, family, this is part 2. What I was going to say is there's a lot of generational struggle, okay? And a lot of kids were raised watching their mothers working 2 and 3 jobs and all that stuff. There was no, man in the home. There was no, and all that stuff. There was no example of what a man's supposed to be in the home. Yes, it was happening in good times, and in different shows portrayed it and stuff. But in our regular communities, it wasn't a lot of that. It was a lot of, before motherfuckers was getting on that angel dust and all that shit in the 80s. Before the 80s, motherfuckers was primarily alcoholics. You know what I'm saying? Back in the, and then the weed and shit started coming out, 60s and 70s and shit, weed and shit. But I'm talking about my mom and them back in that day. They went on some moonshine and all that kind of old shit back then, in those days, okay? And then later on, it started off and then motherfuckers started getting into deeper and deeper and deeper type of drugs, illicit drugs and things. Well, a lot of times the fathers that were in the home were alcoholics. Yeah, they probably had a job, but they was beating up their wives. It was a lot of stuff going on. I'm not saying everybody, but in some particular households, okay? And so a lot of these young boys grew up to believe and to see that this is what a man does. He sit up on the couch, scratch his nuts, drink him beer, talk shit. Y'all go get this, go get that, go do this, go do that. And they never saw a man embracing them in love and saying, okay, son, let's go on out here and let's shoot some hoop. Let's go on out here and, with a ball in the back and let's try to, do some things. Let me show you how to change the brakes on your car. Let me show you how to go in here and change this faucet out in the sink and shit like that. So a lot of men weren't showed that growing up. So it's like if they did not see that in their home, how can you expect them to come in and do all the things that they never seen as a child? They never seen that. So it's like how can they go out and be something that they never knew existed? That's some old, what's the name of that goddamn show? Leave It to Beaver and all that kind of old shit. This shit didn't happen in the black home. But in some black homes, it did. Okay? Not all of us struggled. I didn't struggle growing up. You know what I'm saying? I never struggled. So I don't know what it is to have no lights in the home and, no groceries and, everybody was sitting around with candles and shit like that. I was blessed as a child. And I was blessed in another sense to whereas I ended up marrying my father, if he was an adulterer, I don't know that because it was never put to us as kids. And even like in my particular case, my kids, I got hair and shit in my eye. My kids know not of what they daddy done because I feel like you need to leave a kid in a child's place. Don't share with your kids all the shit that they daddy done to you. You know what I mean? Why give them preconceived notions that my daddy is a cheater and my daddy is this and my daddy is this and my daddy hurt my mommy and all that kind of old shit? My kids know nothing about that. When they see Tone, all they know is this is daddy. As far as they're concerned, he's a pilot, he's a motherfucking astronaut, he all of that. They don't know nothing about what transpired between me and him in the compounds of our relationship and marriage. That is not their burden to bear. I'm not going to charge it to them on what took place in our home. That's not their business. As far as they're concerned, this is our daddy. He loves us. He loves our mama. And that's it. And that's all. But see, nowadays there's so many women out here, befriending their children like they homies and shit. And talking to their kids about issues that ain't got nothing to do with them. Oh, when we get this Section 8, we're going to be living high on the hog. And, yeah, I want you to take my food stamp card and go on down there to the store. And, stop putting these kids in positions like that. I understand that might be your truth. But you leaving them to believe that this is the way life is supposed to go. And life is not supposed to go that way. It really is not. Now, if I'm wrong, I will respect your opinions. The only opinions and comments that bother me is when you're trying to be condescending and you're trying to be low-key, You trying to totally ridicule a motherfucker and be abrasive and disrespectful. Other than that, you can say what you want to. If I'm wrong as two left shoes, hit me off. Tina, you know what? You wrong. You wrong for that. You wrong. That ain't what's going on. Nah, that ain't this, that, Yeah, you need to tell the kids, what they daddy done to me. And you need to tell the kids, no. In my opinion, I feel like a kid should be left into a child's place. Allow them to dream. Allow them to believe that there's a Santa Claus. Allow them to, get dressed for trick-or-treating. And why take away that shit from them? If they want to believe it's a motherfucking Easter bunny coming, goddammit, put the suit on and the motherfucking cotton on your booty and do it moving. You know what I mean? Why take that shit from kids? Why? Why do that? I don't believe in that. I don't believe in it. Now, when they get at a certain age, they can draw their own conclusions on things, okay? But as long as they are children and they go to school with other children and all of the kids is coming back and they talk about what they done on vacation time and they talking about, for Christmas, this what I got and all that, what was you for Halloween and all that kind of shit. Why fuck their minds up with some bullshit on some adult shit? I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I mean, we as adults, we're able to handle things. But give kids some things to look forward to. And stop making it seem like, okay, well, the only thing we can do is we can make some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and go to the motherfucking park and post up. But yet, if it's something that you and your man want to do, y'all go and do it. That's what you call that bullshit. Your man want a motherfucking PlayStation 3. You'll find a way to break off that money for him to go get that, to go get the stereo, to go get the rims for his car, to go get this, candy paint job. But yet, when it comes down to your motherfucking kids, you down there at Dollar General and all this whatever. I mean, for real? I mean, because see, a lot of things, and then you turn around and get mad at another woman that has a man in her life that do for her. How does that go together? When you allowing this man to treat you the way that he's treating you, you allowing this man to not do for you or your kids neither, but constantly patronizing his ass and making excuses for why he have not. Okay? I make no excuses. I don't talk about my personal marriage and things like that and the compounds of it because for the simple fact that I ain't got no clearance from him to put his shit out there like that. I ain't got no clearance from him to say, okay, well, Tony, I want to go on YouTube and tell these motherfuckers, this, that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. No, I ain't got no clearance from him. That motherfucker ain't coming back later on in life on my ass gonna be like, well, you know what, Your Honor? She put me on YouTube, and she said this, that, the whoop, what, wham, wham. Whether it was the truth or not, but Your Honor, she still did that. No, I'm not gonna be her. Period. I'm not gonna be her. I'm not gonna be her. But ladies, we need to stop this. We really, really do, because it starts with us. And we don't do nothing but set our daughters up for this type of bullshit and to live like this. And to constantly have animosity with the next chick and all this other stuff. Why? Why do that? Why setting your girls up to believe that there's no motherfucking Prince Charming coming on a motherfucking white knight and all that other shit? Why set them up to believe that? My daughter's still on some Princess and the Frog shit and she's fucking years old. And let her daddy tell it. He's her motherfucking Charming and she's Princess Tiana and all that motherfucking shit. Now y'all can say what you want to. You can say what you want. But yeah, my kids still believe in such things. We have not taken their childhood away from them. At all. And I think that it's piss poor and bullshit for grown folks to take a kid's childhood away from them. Let them to believe. Put your daughter in situations and in things that she might meet somebody that have a little bit of this, that going on. Teach your sons to grow up, to provide and protect and prepare. Like Tony right now, shit, he got my sons already knowing. Y'all got to get up, y'all got to get your job. You're going to have a wife one day. You're going to need to provide. You're going to have children one day. You need to provide for them. They need to go to preschool. They need this, that, and the other. Y'all got to get up. Y'all got to do something. Now, here last week, my son had his middle college appointment. Here, Tony had just had surgery 2 days before. And guess what? He took his ass down there to that appointment. Hopped, all that. He was like, no. I'll take him. Because I need to have a talk with my son. I will take him. Because he's instilling into my boys that they need to provide. And the only provide is they need to be working. And they need to be schooled. They need to be trained, skilled, and all that other shit. Stop putting 2 earrings in these kids, in these boys' ears and shit, and making them thinking they 50 cent and all that kind of bullshit. That's some bullshit. I don't believe in that. No. My son ain't got not 1 earring in their motherfucking ear. Bet not. You know, girls finger popping and ass twisting and all that. My daughter can't even dance. My kids are square like a motherfucker. Square. Okay? I mean, everybody raise their kids their own way. You know, but what I'm saying to you, stop getting mad at the other chick that lives a little bit differently than you. Alright, family. I'm over here. I'm at, y'all, I got something in my eye. I'm over here and I'm at Albertsons. Let me go in here and check out some markdowns, y'all. Alright, look, check it. Yeah, bye.